Shoot some heroin.
Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, our Thursday show. It's going to be called the Red Pill for right now. We got in the house, we got Colin, we got David. Those that don't know, Colin is one of the people that is messing around in the arena, and he was the one that I debated with on his ladies' channel the other day, talking about some politics. Got kind of spicy, kind of like me and David. We agree on most things, but a couple of things we don't. So we go back and forth, and but it's always respectful. And it's for me, it's a lot of fun because having differing opinions doesn't have to be a bad thing. We can agree on some things, disagree on others, and kind of give our reasons why, and walk away with a more rounded understanding of some of these topics. So I appreciate both of you gentlemen for joining us. How's it going today?
Outstanding.
It's great. It's 9 p.m. here, so I'm a little on the I don't have your pep right now, but I got some energy drink in a bottle right here. I'm gonna ruin my sleep schedule for you. Let's fucking go.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Man.
What up?
We had Jeff that just joined us. He's my co-host on Tuesdays and Fridays. So, I really want to make this a regular thing here on Thursday. So I know that David's always game, but yeah, Colin, if you'd like to be showing up on Thursdays, we'd love to have you.
I'll come on when I can. How's that?
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, we got Josh Dallas in the house. Haven't seen him in a minute.
What up, JD?
All right. So what we're going to talk about, I want to kick this off just right off the bat. Let's go ahead and start with the COVID vaccine. Let's just jump in the deep end. So I found some stuff today, and there was a medical report that came out, and it was doing a side-by-side comparison. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, yeah, here it is. So let me share my screen here, and we'll do this, and I'll play a little bit of this, and then we'll discuss.
Data makes you think.
Hear that?
It will be as catastrophic to your career as you think.
What was he so afraid of? The study was a bombshell.
18,468 subjects. 1,957 of them were fully unvaccinated. When comparing the health outcomes of the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated, they found an increased risk in the vaccinated of several chronic health conditions. The vaccinated subjects were over 4 times more likely to have an asthma diagnosis.
4.29 times in the adjusted. And that seems, I've looked at a lot of studies, that's 3.26 to 5.65.
They also found 3 times the risk for atopic diseases,
which is kind of a subset of allergic diseases.
They found a almost 6 times risk for autoimmune disease.
The autoimmune diseases this paper looked at include thrombocytopenic purpura, rheumatoid arthritis, SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, MS, multiple sclerosis, and Guillain-Barré syndrome. They mentioned there are over 80 different autoimmune diseases, and what their data showed for autoimmunity, 6 times increase in those who got vaccinated when compared to the unvaccinated.
Which is staggering because autoimmune disorders really represent significant morbidity and health costs and suffering, accrued over a lifetime.
Neurodevelopmental disorders.
What kind of numbers are we talking about? Do you remember?
5.5 times risk for neurodevelopmental disorders.
Holy shit.
We know that the immune system is intimately connected with both brain development and brain functioning. And so when the immune system gets triggered by illness, potentially by vaccination, you can get neuropsychiatric symptoms, presumably related to brain inflammation and, immune processes in the brain.
2.92 times the amount of motor disabilities, 4.47 times the amount of speech disorders in the vaccinated compared to the unvaccinated.
3 times the rate of developmental delay.
They found the same things I found related to allergy and autoimmunity. Also, 6 times more acute and chronic ear infections.
Interestingly, there were several health conditions where they couldn't even do this analysis because there were none in the unvaccinated group. The way that the mathematical formulas work, you can't have a 0 in any one group and be able to compare risk.
For example, there were 262 children
I like this
who
guy,
had
Aaron.
ADHD in the vaccinated group. Amongst the unvaccinated group, there were 0 cases of ADHD. 0.
These ones are just mind-boggling. These conditions were not found at all in almost 2,000 unvaccinated kids. 0 brain dysfunction, 0 diabetes, 0 behavioral problems, 0 learning disabilities, 0 intellectual disabilities, 0 tics, and 0 other psychological disabilities.
That is insane.
So can I ask a question? Like, what were they using as their methodology for determining whether or not someone had a diagnosis? And the reason I ask this is my experience with people who are anti the COVID vaccine, right?
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I did take it, and full disclosure, I do regret it. Is that they are less likely to do things like take your kid to the doctor to get diagnosed for ADHD because they think that stuff is a bunch of hokum. So my question is, how did they determine what, or take them to a different doctor who's less likely to diagnose them with ADHD and go, it's just a boy, he's acting like a boy, calm down, right? So what methodology do you think they used to determine like whether or not a child had those illnesses?
Like before and after?
You see what I'm saying?
I would guess, since it's a scientific study, and I'm just guessing, that they screened all of the people in the case study before with the same doctors, and then the same doctors after, or they just found individuals that were going to the doctor on a regular basis and had been screened for those things. I mean, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but I would guess there would have to be some sort of, because I mean, just how scientific studies work, there has to be some sort of.
I don't like that. I don't like that because the scientific studies are also the ones that told us that COVID was safe. And so, like, I don't really lean on this shit. I go literally, if you're not going to trust one side, you can't trust the other side either. You know what I mean? And maybe this is a very vaccinated take, but like the truth is, like, it seems to me like the method that they choose for selecting whether or not one group was equal to the other is just as important as whether or not what those outcomes were. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and
it makes
so
total sense.
If a group is highly unlikely to trust the medical field already, and then they poll a bunch of people who then say, I got these diagnosed after my shot, right? Those people
Colin,
are more inclined to...
your ladies in the chat, Colin, say hello.
Oh, what's up? What's up? How's it going, Apu? But you see what I'm saying? Like, we have to be equally skeptical of both sides. And that's why
absolutely.
and that's why I'm just curious about that. They could have good methodology. I don't know. And so this is where I'm like, when we see videos like this, we got to realize that we had equally as toxic videos from the other side doing the same shit. And so they looked the same, they sounded the same, they had the same kind of editing, and they showed the same kind of reporting. So why do we trust one and not the other?
Well, Colin, the reason is you got the shot, and so you're developmentally disabled.
So, I mean, look, if we're being intellectually honest here, we don't know what methodology they used. But here's the thing. I think about incentive structures here a lot. And why in the world do the manufacturers of these vaccine products require immunity from prosecution? You would think that if their products were so safe that if you got injured by one of their products, you should be able to sue, right? But you can't. You can't sue. Why do the manufacturers of these vaccine products require immunity to get their products on the market in the first place? And what is
That's
that?
true for all medications too. Like, for instance, they put the onus of prescription on the doctor. So the doctor's the one who has to have the malpractice lawsuit.
Right, but you can sue a doctor, though.
You can sue a doctor, and it would be like you sue the doctor for giving you the wrong medication, but you don't sue the pharmaceutical company for the medication. Sometimes, however, it has happened. There was a medication for quitting smoking. I forget what its name was. And it was a variant of Wellbutrin. And they put it out, and it was supposed to be some miracle cure-all to help people quit smoking. And a lot of people committed suicide. And I mean, a lot. And so then they got fucking prosecuted. But
could sue. You could sue the manufacturer of that product. You could sue the doctor. But with these vaccine products, and uniquely for these vaccine products, they got immunity in 1986.
Ooh.
Like, so like why can't you sue?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like that was the big brouhaha in 1986 when they started to remove thimerosal, which is like a type of mercury. Like, think about that for a second, bro. Like, someone thought it was a good idea to put mercury in these vaccine products that are injected into babies. Like, what? Right. Like, and that makes no sense.
It's not a lot. They go, it's not a lot. And then they increase the number of vaccines from 11 to fucking 72 before the age of 1.
And so like, here's the problem. Like, the manufacturers can't be sued, bro. They've got immunity. And so that
shouldn't be legal.
It's right. So that removes their incentive to actually properly safety test these products. They can't be sued. So why bother safety testing this stuff properly? And also, you got to think about the journals, okay? The journals in which these, journal articles, these research notes, these scientific papers are published. Who's paying to produce this research? Like, bro,
the pharmaceutical companies.
So like, if I'm Pfizer and I give you, Colin, I give you $1 million and I say, hey, Colin, I want you to go and produce some research on my product for which I can't be sued. Well, you're definitely going to come back with an outcome that is in favor of my product because I paid you to produce the research. So who's paying for the research? Who's paying to keep these journals afloat? Like, bro, the bottom line is that the entire system is funded by the pharmaceutical industry. So there's no incentive for them to report against their own products. Why in the world would they do that? It doesn't make any sense.
I'll see if I can find it. Go ahead and keep talking. But I saw another video where they caught, he was like the head of research and marketing for, I think it was Pfizer. And they did one of those stings, the honeypot, where they had the hot girl go out on the date with them or whatever.
I think I've seen the one you're talking about, Mike.
And basically he was like going through like that they knew it was ineffective and they knew there were side effects and they released it anyway. So let me see if I can find that. You guys keep going.
So Mike, the video content that you played just a moment ago, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that that's actually about the flu vaccine. Are you sure that that's about the COVID shots?
That's what it was saying at the beginning, was that it was about COVID. So
I thought that video clip was actually about the flu vaccines. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I could as well. I just wanted to have some sort of, kind of catalyst for the conversation that, vaccines in general, not just COVID, but vaccines in general.
So leading up to our call today, I actually used Google Gemini Deep Research to produce some research about VAERS. the Vaccine Safety Reporting System, VAERS. That's the CDC's reporting system. So I used Google to produce this research, okay? And Google will lie to you. And it will do so in such a confident way that unless you actually know what you're looking for, you could totally be just bullshitted.
Use Grok.
Grok is better, right?
But Grok is great. It's amazing.
Still lies, though. It still lies, man. You know.
Well, the problem with all these LLMs is that they're basically collective knowledge. So it's essentially kind of like a voting system of what everybody's saying. So if the zeitgeist goes in one direction, eventually the LLM also goes in that direction. There's really not much you can do about that.
Well,
but if you ask Grok a lot of questions to question it, it eventually gets there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I totally do. But, about VAERS, though. So, the signal in the VAERS data is so overwhelming. And what it tells you is that these COVID shots, they're fucking dangerous, man. Like, so in the Google Gemini research,
all those people were like freaking all those athletes and stuff. They, like on camera, you had people that were getting the vaccine, like the newscasters.
Yeah. You guys, you remember died.
I mean, it was like professional soccer players and basketball players. I mean, people that were in good health.
You can't be a random person to submit an adverse reaction in VAERS. You have to be a medical professional to go through all that too. So it's not like we have all these people just submitting these issues, and that's what they were saying, like, oh, well, all that data is bullshit because for whatever reason they were giving. It's like, no, you have to be a medical professional to submit in that system.
And so Jeff, the important thing for me about that is that people underreport, doctors underreport in that VAERS system. And from what I've read, it could be like they underreport by a factor of 10. So the deaths that are reported that I saw in VAERS attributed to the COVID shots, it's like 36,000 reported deaths.
One thing that I can speak on is my ex, she was actually one of the department heads at a hospital, a major hospital, here in the West. I don't want to dox her or anything, so I'm being kind of somewhat vague on that. But I mean, we dated for like 10 years, and she was, one of the major department heads, and she sat in during COVID. We were dating, and she sat in on meetings, the high-level meetings in the hospital, and they were getting government subsidies for every COVID case that they had. It was like $30,000 or something per person. Crazy. And basically what they were saying in the meetings, well, not basically, what they were saying in the meetings is everybody that dies gets a COVID test. And basically they were, making sure that they were getting paid as much as possible. So they were incentivized for reporting more COVID deaths. And if you look at a lot of other, like the common flu, the amount of deaths during COVID, like freaking the flu, like dipped off to where it was almost nothing. Almost nobody died of the flu, and people die of the flu every year. It's like, 10, 20,000 people, something like that, not a massive number, but
that's a lot.
No, it is, but still it's just, people die all the time from all kinds of different stuff. But,
Mike, why they didn't report that? Because they weren't getting paid to report deaths from influenza. So
exactly.
Again, man, it comes down to incentive structure, right?
Exactly.
So if you're a hospital administrator and you know that for every COVID death, you're going to get a check for $6,000, bro, guess what? Everyone just died from COVID. Like, you got hit by a truck.
You're
COVID positive though. So you died from COVID.
He was a guy that died from a motorcycle accident, and they gave him, he was dead. When he got to the hospital, they gave him a COVID test. And he came up positive, and they're like, he died from COVID.
Right, because the money, man. It's just
so. How do you fix the money?
Well, you should not be
government subsidizing everything.
Right, like you should not be incentivizing hospitals with money to report deaths from anything, really.
Does it matter if the government is subsidizing everything? Because either way, the incentives are still there for them to just sell product.
Well, but I don't know that that's true.
But
isn't it?
In this case, though, they would have been given the same medical treatment they would have given before and made the same money they always make. They wouldn't have gotten extra money from the government in the form of these $30,000 per person subsidies. So
sure, but even if you remove the subsidies, that just means they want to make up the profit in other ways, which typically means cutting corners.
No, but it's
always an imperfect system, is what I'm trying to get at. And like, sometimes we have to go through a huge purge, and I think that's what we're about to go through, right? Where we do this corruption scan, and we just like tar and feather a lot of motherfuckers. But
honestly, it's got to happen at some point. I mean, it is like blatantly obvious to anybody that's paying attention. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're in the middle. I don't care if you believe in, fucking unicorns. The facts are both sides of the aisle, our entire government has failed. They've just failed. Let's just be real here. I'm not saying that, I call for any kind of violence or anything. All I'm saying is, we, the people, need to start paying better attention and electing better people, because the ones that are there through either because of the system or because they just have, a lifetime check there, basically, as long as they do the bidding of whoever keeps them in office with their donations and whatnot, because they just pander to us, during the elections. And then after the election, they just go back to serving their masters, and they've screwed everything up.
So here's something else that I think about a lot when it comes to the COVID shots. Remember how we were all coerced into getting those shots? So, like, I'll speak for myself, okay? So,
I was saying, who's this we?
I said me. I was definitely coerced, but I'll tell you, man, in 2020, at the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, I was working in healthcare. And I remember I got the Delta variant in 2020 in December, and I got sick for about a week. And then in January of 21, where I was working, we were in California, we were able to get the COVID shots before everyone else. And so for me, a vaccine means you can't get the disease and you can't spread it, right? That's what the definition of a vaccine meant to me. And so I thought, okay, well, they're saying these shots are safe and effective. But they had no data to be able to make those claims. They didn't have enough safety data. And from what we've seen of the safety data, it looks like it was all bullshit. And they didn't have any data to be able to say that it was actually effective. And yet they were making those claims, saying that it was safe and effective. And so I thought to myself, well,
really quick, let's go around the horn, because I want to touch on a couple other topics. I don't want to run out of time, but let's go around the horn really quick and just kind of close out this conversation before we move on to the next one. Jeff, you got anything on COVID?
I'm glad I did. I have family members that didn't want to be around me unless I got it, and I had been deep in the health space for nearly a decade at that point, and just seeing what I saw about like pharmaceutical industry and their corruption and the revolving door between pharma and the FDA and CDC, I was like, I don't trust any of this at all. So I'm glad I didn't take it, but even now, like the same family members, they don't say a word about it. They're like, oh yeah, we've not that they. I don't know. I'm just glad I didn't take it, because the hold conviction in what you hold your convictions, because at some point it could benefit you.
Oh, for sure. But Colin, what's your final thoughts on this topic before we move on?
I don't know. I don't really have much to say with regard to COVID. I got the shot. I probably got sick before I got the shot. I've had COVID 4 times. 3 of those times were after the shot. It was a fucking waste of my time. If there was any negative side effects, I don't know if I've had them or not. I know that I felt pretty sluggish after COVID, but I got it in New York City in 2020. But I can't prove it. And it seems to me like a lot of it was kind of a money grab. And there's really nothing else I could say about it other than, if there's adverse health side effects, whoopsie, it's done now. Don't get the shots anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. David, closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think that COVID And what was done to us during COVID was that's what real authoritarianism looks like. That's what real fascism looks like. Suspending the Bill of Rights, forcing everyone to stay home for no reason. Like this was like a cold.
He arrested a surfer that was surfing by himself.
Like the response to COVID was so much more damaging than the actual disease itself, especially the Omicron variant. Like I ended up just like you, Colin. I got the shot, and I ended up getting COVID at least 3 times after I got the shot. And like when I look at the statistical data around excess deaths after the initialization of the shot, the COVID vaccine program, like, dude, the signal is there. Like, excess deaths increased, and they have not come down. And so I kind of expect that, in hindsight, like over the next several years, next several decades, we're going to look back on COVID as one of the worst hoaxes and scams ever perpetrated on the American people in history, period. Like,
oh yeah,
bro, it's just horrible.
Well, my only closing thoughts, it's just I get it. I mean, there was a lot of people. I mean, I can see it from both sides, because I mean, I know people that died from it, but they were very elderly, in poor health, things like that. So I mean, you get a bad flu or a bad cold, you can get pneumonia and die. I mean, it's when you're in that weakened state. But I get it. That I mean, the military. I was out, thank goodness, by then, but. I knew a lot of buddies, and they were telling them, you get the shot or you're going to get released from service. Like, you're going to lose your career if you don't get the shot. So I get it. There was people out there that, you were like, get it or you don't have a job. They were like threatening people's livelihoods. It was crazy what was going on. So I definitely feel you, David. And I feel what all of you are saying is it got weird. And, I can see why some people think it was a test to see how compliant people would be. But anyway.
So one last thing, Mike. The scariest thing for me about COVID was during the lockdowns and after the lockdowns was seeing just how many people were more than happy to inform on their neighbors. Do you guys remember the crazy Karens and the people out there?
People over at their house
who would inform and rat people out for not following the draconian authoritarian measures during COVID. Dude, what's that all about, man?
Well, let's speaking of California.
Can I actually ask a question before we move on?
Oh, what's up?
It's not necessarily, it's not a COVID thing, but like,
David, go ahead.
You mentioned the word fascism.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious, do you guys know what fascism is? Like, actually, by definition, I do. And I'm just kind of curious, what you got, because that word is thrown around a lot. And a lot of people never even once looked into what it actually is.
So I think when I think about fascism, Colin, what I think about is the merger of, corporatism and the state for the purpose of, killing people. That's kind of what I think it is. But what is it? What's the definition?
It's not. And that's one of the things that people have been conflating. I mean, we have an actual definition for fascism. Yeah. Fascism is a nostalgia-based propaganda system which informs policy. That's what it is. The Third Reich, that kind of thing, where they're bringing back bringing back the Roman Empire, that kind of thing. That is actually fascism. Its opposite is progressivism, where everybody's pitching fucking Star Trek and nobody has any idea if this shit's actually going to work. It's a propaganda system. That's all it is. And fascism and progressivism can both be equally bad. And what we saw is actually bad progressivism. And I want to point that out, that this was a progressive policy. It was just a really bad one. And if you want to see another example of bad progressive policy, Mao's Great Leap Forward was promising a utopia, and it was actually a progressive system. So this idea that progressivism is always good needs to stop, right? because we hit the limits where progressivism is going to do us any good right now. And that's not to say I'm advocating for fascism. I'm just saying that
there's some very
make America great again.
Well, there's some very strong parallels that you can draw between, Nazis, and the Reich and the modern day left, when it comes to propaganda. I mean,
no, that's authoritarianism, and this is where people get twisted, is they think that authoritarianism and fascism are the same fucking word.
No. I'm just speaking on the topic of propaganda. It's just, there's a very strong parallel that you can draw there.
I kind of think of like communism and National Socialism as being very similar. It's just that the Nazis were
socialism.
It's socialism basically.
It's just socialism is an economic system. Capitalism is an economic system.
Yeah.
Fascism is a propaganda system. Progressivism is a propaganda system. And what fascism is a palingenic ultranationalism. And so what we keep doing is throwing around this word fascism to call things authoritarian. That's bad because it prevents us from correcting evil progressivism.
Well, we got a lot of evil progressivism around now. We've got people who are open communists, bro. Like that guy in New York, that's one of the topics I want to get to. I mean, if you guys don't mind, if we can,
basically, I want to talk about him. I'll just let you guys know and the audience know. These are the other topics I was thinking of touching. Is Mandani in New York and kind of what's going on currently with him, enacting his policies that he promised his constituents. And I also want to talk about the new wealth tax in California, where there's like this mass exodus going on right now of the ultra wealthy from California, because California is basically saying that they're going to take like a 10% tax or something like that of their net worth.
It's 5%.
But
if you're illiquid, if you're holding stock, you're fucked.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And the worst part is that they're trying to backdate it to January 1st, 2026.
Bro, it's so stupid because it's just basically a confiscation.
Keep going with that.
So that wealth tax is simply a new way of confiscating wealth from the most productive people in society. But that's not the goal, though, because the wealth that would be confiscated from those people would not even come close to filling the hole in California's budget. So I did some research on California and where the money actually comes from to fund these social services. Turns out that $300 billion HHS budget in California, $175 billion of that 300 comes from the feds each year.
Oh, from the feds?
Yeah, it comes from the feds. So it's $175 billion a year in transfer payments from the feds. So here's how it works in California. The state can borrow to build the infrastructure. All the hospitals, the clinics, like the actual capital infrastructure. But the state doesn't have any money to actually deliver the services. So think, pay for the doctors and nurses' salaries, pay for the goods in those hospitals and clinics that get consumed when you deliver healthcare services, let's say. The state doesn't have money to pay for any of that. The state can't pay to deliver the services. All that money comes from the feds. So what happens when it's discovered that there is massive fraud in that system? Well, I think Big Daddy Trump is going to have no choice but to start cutting those payments. And I think he's already made it clear that starting February 1st, they're going to start cutting that stuff. So what happens when, let me give you an example for EBT. So in California, EBT is $14 billion a year. 100% of that money comes from the feds. Those are all federal transfer payments. Now, the state spends $4 billion a year to administer that program. Make that make sense. You deliver $14 billion in aid in EBT and food stamps, but you spend $4 billion a year just to administer the program. That seems pretty wasteful. But let's just say that some of that food stamp money gets cut. Let's say all of it gets cut. Well, all of the people who depend on that don't just suddenly vanish. They're still here. What do they do for food? How does that work? What happens if you can't pay the doctors and nurses in these clinics?
Let's look at it from this angle, like just to kind of get back to the the wealth tax. It's like, what happens when all those people that are paying all those taxes, what happens when they're gone? They're not paying those property taxes on those huge houses and all that income that's leaving the state. And a lot of those are business owners. A lot of those people are folding up shop, and they're going to move their businesses to where they're at, and that has more favorable taxes.
I'm one of them.
And, yeah, you're one of them. You're in the process of moving right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what happens when that, because I mean, looking at kind of my notes here, you got a high speed rail that they've only done, like, they've spent billions of dollars on it, and they've only done like a 1,600-foot section or something. I mean, it's just freaking ridiculous. But check this out.
Yeah, they might have one track laid, a single 1 foot long track for a mini train.
It's just, bro, that is obviously fraud. Like, there's
right here. Gavin Newsom took $26 billion and reduced homelessness from 35,000 to 175,000. $26 billion, and this isn't just a meme. I've actually looked this up before. He basically made $26 billion disappear to combat.
It's an incentive.
It's an incentive problem.
Right.
Like, literally, when they're like, hey, we're giving out free cell phones and food and support, all the homeless people across the country go, let's settle up and frickin' in there. And then they build economic system, their whole economic culture around supporting those people. Now there's a ton of people employed just to support the homeless people, and they're not trying to reduce because that would put them out of a job.
Right.
So it's like,
right.
We've got
like,
Hoovervilles, man. And
dude,
it's like,
yeah. You're totally right, Colin. The incentive is totally broken. Like, if you are incentivizing NGOs to, provide services to homeless people, and they get more money each year if they serve more homeless, then you're incentivizing the creation of more homeless people. Like, not
pat my crotch, Rick, and pack sand, man. He's saying, is this the weekly He-Man Woman Haters Club?
Oh, man.
Oh, bro. It's just...
Patting my crotch is Drew's dad.
Drew from the basement.
The Druth? That's his dad.
So
we're always talking in the chat. One of these days I'm going to meet the guy.
Yeah, man. It's just, you think about, like, all right, if you're the state of California and you've got a $25 billion budget to fight homelessness, and you dispense funds to non-governmental organizations, let's say that you give $1 billion to Acme NGO, just make up a name for it. And now that NGO's got $1 billion in its coffers, right? Well, what happens when they hire another NGO, and then they hire another NGO, and then 10 NGOs down the line? You haven't delivered any services to the public at all, but all those people who are administering those companies, those NGOs, they're getting paid. So how is that not, like, clearly a scam?
The worst part is they lock them into these long contracts. And so, like, you get a 5-year contract and there's 4-year terms. By the time they're in the next term, like, either that vote has already happened, or, like, there's another person in charge who has no context or history of what's going on. And it's just like, this is a problem. It's just like, everything in our government is built around perverse incentives, and they wonder why we're bleeding money. It's being sent overseas, why we have corruption in every single fucking facet of our systems. I curse. I apologize if that's not your style, but
fucking A, man.
But yeah, like literally, it's just,
I don't care about
and I don't know what to
care about anything. We speak freely here.
So as much as it's like, this is the fine line we're walking right now, okay? Corruption breeds authoritarianism, but cleaning up corruption leads to authoritarianism as well. No, think about it. Think about it. In order to clean this up, you need to depose people and economic systems which are already in power, which leaves a void, which means that void has to be filled by more power. Which, of course, you put your power in charge of, unless you have an ethical, like, philosopher king, which is very unlikely.
Well, I know a way to fix it. I put a lot of thought into this. It's basically what would need to happen, and it'd be almost impossible to get them to do it voluntarily because they have to vote for it. But there needs to be term limits. And me personally, I don't think there should be professional politicians. I think it should be a new person every 2 years. It's any citizen have a lottery, and they have to take a series of tests. So they have to have a deep knowledge of history and the Constitution, and understand, have a basic understanding how government works. And then you're in a pool of people, and of those pool of people, then it's like a lottery, and you have to go and you get a salary, but you can't take any money from anybody else. There's no elections, so you don't need an election fund. You get your salary for those 2 years. And just like in the military, if you're in the Guard and Reserves and deploy, they have to hold your job for you until you come back, and just do the same thing for those individuals. They're serving their nation, as a senator or congressman. And then basically just have you might have a plumber as your representative one time, and then a lawyer, and then maybe a mechanic. You don't know who. But it would be.
But Ilhan Omar
is
what's
going on.
Ilhan Omar went from a negative net wealth, actually, of negative 30, to in 5 years being worth what, $30 million.
So but Colin, that's totally normal. Totally normal.
It doesn't take term limits for corruption. You know what I mean? Like 5 years.
Bro, there's a lot of people like her who have gone from, zero net worth to 8 figures over the course of a couple of years on a congressperson's salary of like $170K. It makes no sense.
But that's what I'm saying is you could get rid of all the lobbyists, all the special interests, because there would be no elections. So there wouldn't be a need for, they wouldn't be allowed to have like a little war chest, to get reelected. Basically, all they get, if they're caught taking any money other than their salary, then it's prison time.
That's already on the books.
Right. I don't think that's
already the law.
Yeah.
Well, obviously
the
law is
problem
not
that
being
I'm struggling
enforced.
with. The law is clear. They're fucking should be in prison for longer than Bernie Madoff, and yet,
they've been insider trading.
But who's watching The Watchmen, and also literally who's watching The Watchmen? That's the problem we're dealing with here, and
they are.
Who can we hire, and how can we structure a system of checks and balances such that their incentive model is to bust as many fucking people as possible in our government? And then how do we check and balance those people so they're not overdoing it? You see what I'm saying? Or entrapping them. And it's this is the fucked up system where there's no way to check and balance perfectly.
This is how we fix it. The Arena Rangers, freedom.
Yeah.
See, I'm in the blue, Drew's in the red, Colin's in the yellow, and Malik is in the green.
Do you know why I'm yellow? That's
are you yellow?
My girlfriend is the artist of that, and that's her favorite color.
Yeah. And that's what?
That's her favorite color.
Oh, that's her favorite color. Okay.
Yeah, man. But on the topic of massive fraud and who's supposed to go after the people who are clearly committing this fraud, it's supposed to be the feds, right? That's why we have the federalist system. The feds are supposed to be the ones looking in and seeing hey, California, we gave you $175 billion this past year. How did you spend it? Account for that. Same thing in Minnesota. Did you guys see Nick Shirley's second video? Did you see the second one? Bro, there are people literally admitting to fraud on camera at these different, fake businesses in Minnesota. It's mind blowing, bro. And the people at the top, they obviously knew that this was going on. They were obviously benefiting from it. They were getting campaign donations from the people committing the fraud. It's out there in the open.
Waltz, the attorney general, and I think the lieutenant
mayor and the mayor too.
And the mayor. I think that they were pulling up evidence that they knew about it and actually was shutting down the departments that oversaw fraud and stuff in the programs.
And dude, Mike, it's not like this just had started last year. Like, dude,
No.
this has been going on for over a decade. Like, people have known about this for a long, long time. But if the Democrat politicians in power are getting kickbacks, they're getting kickbacks from the fraudsters. Like, they're getting their campaigns funded by fraud. Like,
So
they're laundering
didn't
our
just
tax
appear out of
dollars.
nowhere. Ilhan Omar didn't just appear out of nowhere and was like, I have an idea, let's just defraud the government. She got into office because they paid for her to get into office, because they had the money to get her into office because of fraud. And so, like, this has been going on way longer than her. Like, way longer. We got news reports going back, like you said, over 10 years of this happening. And have you heard the new one with the TSA agents? Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God, they're in the airports.
Yeah.
The TSA agents are Somalians. They're in the airports, and they're letting them walk through with suitcases of fucking cash.
So Colin, it's actually, I think it's actually even worse than that, bro. Like, from what I heard about it, it seems like if they just declared the money, that they're just allowed to walk through, like, no problem. Yeah. They just had to declare it first. So I'm assuming that they did. Like, if you saw in Nick Shirley's video,
I have to declare anything over $10,000, right? And then they have to trace back. They have to find out why I'm carrying anything over $10,000, right? Mm-hmm. So what is special about them, where they're bringing in millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they're just like, "Oh, you declared it. Go on through." I'm pretty sure if I did that, they would think I'm a coke dealer.
Right. But you don't have a whole set of Democrat politicians, guarding your back. That's the thing. Like, that's my point. Like, this is like,
do we honestly believe that both Democrats and Republicans aren't fully aware of what the other side is doing, and they're just in some sort of weird Cold War where nobody fires a shot? We're not going to say anything if you don't say anything. And they're just all basically laundering our tax dollars into government contracts, NGOs, and fraud, and basically looping the money back to themselves. Freaking.
If the Democrats always vote one way and the Republicans always vote one way, okay? But if the Democrats are committing fraud and they need to always make sure that their shit gets passed, they only have to corrupt like 20 Republicans to make that happen.
Yeah,
because then they guarantee no matter what the makeup of the House, they're gonna get it.
And dude, it's even worse so they're basically using the Democrat Party. To me, looks more like some type of criminal organization than an actual legitimate political party. Because
super delegates.
Well, they're using.
Don't even vote.
they're using these social services. They're bribing people. They're, number one, like, getting people into the country illegally and then getting them like a fast track to citizenship, or allowing them to get a driver's license and get on the voter rolls. Like, why do you think that, the Democrat politicians across the country won't open up their voter rolls? Because, bro, there's millions, I'm sure, of illegals who can vote and probably do. So if the swing vote in your state, let's say you're Minnesota, if the swing vote in your state is Somalians, well, guess what? You are going to make sure that you do everything to back up your Somali population. That Somali population can do no wrong if they're voting for you.
Omar is, that's how she got into office, was, all the Somalians that they imported into that district.
Yeah.
And then they set up sanctuary cities in blue states so that they can add more of those people from across the border, set them up with even more financing options, which is just taking taxpayer dollars from us, which makes a net negative payment on us. And then they go, they pay taxes too, but it's like, but they're net negative, like, because they're taking more from the system than they're giving. So shut up. Like, this is insanity.
Illegals to swing states too. They sent a lot of people to swing states to try and shift them, maybe 4 or 5 years, these people can become legal, and then they get their vote, because
David was
incentivized to vote for it.
I was just
more incentivized to vote for these people.
Well, I was just going to say that David the other day was talking about how he was working for the state of California and basically helping people get government IDs, registered to vote, signed up for all the benefits. So, there's obviously a vehicle, and I'm sure Colorado, Oregon, Washington, California, New York, a lot of those left-leaning states now, Minnesota, there's obviously manipulation going on. And like they were just saying, like Colin and David was just saying, they open border, sanctuary states. I mean, you got magnets and metal shards and everybody coming across the border. I have buddies that work on the border. They were finding Qurans and prayer rugs. There was Mexicans and, people from Central and South America diming out the Arabic guys. Cause I don't know if you've noticed, but they look very similar, same kind of look about them. And so they'd be like, hey, they don't speak Spanish. And so they were, kind of diming them out.
You guys, here's something that I think about quite often, actually. Like during Biden's regime, when we saw those images and videos of people just pouring across the border, when you saw those hordes of people, there weren't many, if any, women in those images. It was almost all military-age men. And ask yourself this question. If you are a dude in South America, right? And let's say that you live in like fucking Panama or something. Well, and you don't have a ton of means. How in the world do you go from Panama to crossing the border in Mexico? Like, that's a long journey. Do you really think that millions of people just all at once dropped everything and suddenly made this trek thousands of miles, many of them through the Darien Gap, which is like, deadly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How
dangerous.
How in the world did they make that journey? Like, how did they eat? How did they have fuel? Like, how did they navigate? How was that actually facilitated? I think that during the Biden regime, those millions of people that came across the border, I think that was funded with U.S. taxpayer dollars. And I think that was probably the largest and most pernicious human trafficking operation in history. I think
they've proven it.
I think the taxpayers' tax dollars paid to, transport millions of people. Yeah, through the NGOs.
Dollars went to NGOs, and those NGOs, they've shown it. There's people who have done videos, and they went down and did that whole journey that you're talking about from like Central America from that gap all the way up through Mexico, and they were showing that they were handing out
huge audience for trans opera in fucking Colombia. Like, you know what I mean?
Right?
Like,
you talking about the USAID money, Colin?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It was just an excuse, and they could say anything was LGBTQ, and it was just an automatic write-off, and you couldn't argue against it because they set up this whole like holier than thou, like, oh fucking goddamn.
No, I just don't like opera.
Oh, bro, but speaking of the LGBTQ stuff, so have you guys listened to the arguments in front of the Supreme Court over the last couple of days? Bro, that shit. Like, I started getting dizzy.
Johnny Jackson, whatever, is fucking retarded. She is so bad. She is and this is not a racial statement, like, because they keep making it that. I'm telling you, she's stupid as fuck. Like, I keep hearing her, and she's literally word salading half the time, tripping over her own definitions and contradicting herself.
And men get pregnant.
Oh my God, dude.
Well, I think you're politicizing this. We can't do yes or no. Like, oh my God, are you?
Oh, that one. That's what you're talking about? I saw that one too.
That's another one. That's in Congress.
Yeah, I was talking about the SCOTUS stuff.
I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what
the
goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
I'm a doctor.
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
Many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women.
Can men get pregnant?
This question is easier than my cousin.
Let me just remind you testified to.
Right.
Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a
totally
doctor, I
agree.
think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence. And I'm asking you, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert. And you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the.
All right.
I think you're trying to reduce the.
It's just like, this is
I
why.
have clients and they're trans, and I don't want to lose their business.
Exactly.
Dude, what medical school did she go to? Like
Emu University.
Like what? Make this make sense, man. Like, dude, people actually go. How many doctors like her are there? How many?
Dude, therapists are the worst on this one, man. I got a friend who's a therapist, and we're kind of like really having a hard time with our relationship right now because she's like, I want to support all the people, and obviously gender is different than sex. And I'm like, says fucking who?
It's all made up.
I don't think so. Like,
It's
I
all
can
it's
tell
all made
the
up.
difference.
Yeah, no, it's completely made up. It's all about
incentivized to coddle the mental illness. I mean, because if they have issues and things they need to work through, they're going to keep coming back and paying them.
It's just, dude, it's about confusing language. I try to be as precise with my language as I can be, because that's all we have. That's the only way you can articulate your position, is if you're precise with your language. But I think what these people are doing is intentional, like changing the definition of a vaccine, changing the definition of words. They use that to confuse people so that they can then change history. Like, dude, if you read 1984 or you read any of those books, like that was always something that you see as a theme in those books. What they do is they change the meaning of words, they change history so that they can control the narrative and get people to do what they want. It's about getting control.
Read Plato's dialogues. You could go right there. And Plato's dialogues between Plato and Socrates, right? The entire intent of their discussions was to started with the idea of what happened. How did Athens get conquered by Sparta? If Sparta was this, like goofy little like country, and they were built, but we're supposed to be the intellectuals. We were supposed to be the smart ones. How did we lose to them? And what they identified in the dialogues with that is that they were using sophistry and manipulative language and very ambiguous stuff. They did not have a grasp of reality, and so they wound up not being able to come to consensus on anything. And the hordes of Spartans came in and fucking swept them. And so because they had a unified idea of like, this works, I'm going to do this. Like, that's all you need in life. This is common sense. And that's what they actually came up with in Plato's very dialogues. Like, this is like an old concept. And like, this is just repeating throughout history. Like the Weimar Republic, but this is the problem. This is what I'm warning everybody against, okay? Sparta was very dictatorial, right? Athens was extremely democratic, okay? When the fall happens after democracy loses its fucking mind, okay? You gotta be careful with what fills in that void.
That's right? What they said on that movie 300. He's like Athenians are artists and boy lovers or something like that. Oh,
dude, Mike, can you find on X there's some like meme where the guy from 300, he's talking to some people in his phalanx, and he's like, Arcadian. It's hilarious, man.
Which one was it?
It's just some meme I've seen on X. It's like a short video, kind of making fun of 300. It's hilarious, man. But again, it's about changing the meaning of words to confuse people so that you can control the narrative and then gain control of individuals, get control of the levers of power, and enact whatever it is that you want to enact. So
Whether or
dude,
not it makes sense.
yeah, and if no one can actually agree on the meaning of words, then you can't fight back.
The very definition of sophistry. And this is why it's such an old concept, and it keeps happening over and over and over again. But the good news on this, the silver lining is every time it ends, even if it has a period of like tumultuous, often dictatorial, like things that happen as a result, okay? When we get through that part, which happens very quickly actually, you get this new enlightenment, right? You get this new boom. And so I'm looking 10 years down the road and feeling very optimistic, but the next 10 years are going to be weirder.
I mean, fucking A, man. Like, it's just, dude, if you can't agree on the meaning of words, then it's really difficult to have a conversation about objective truth. Like, I'm looking for truth, bro. I'm truth seeking. And if we can't agree on the definition of a man or a woman, like the most basic shit in the world, then good luck.
Well, it's a non-starter. I mean, if you can't agree on a language in which to communicate on to debate, you can't debate because then you're debating feelings. You can't debate feelings. People are going to feel how they feel. That's fine. But you when you're debating, you should be using logic. You should be using facts. You should be using data as it's known at that time.
You sound
That's
like
the only way that you can. It has to be a universal truth. It can't be an individual truth. I hate that term that people use. My truth. Like, that's my truth. No, that's your opinion. That's not. There's no truth. That's your opinion.
So here's a really stupid opinion. So I heard Tim Waltz talking about how in Minnesota schools there are 50 languages spoken, and how that's such a great thing. And I was just thinking to myself, like, dude, if I'm sending my children to a public school, I don't have kids, but when I have kids, if I send them to a public school and there are 50 languages spoken in the classroom, I would expect that nothing would be learned by anyone.
No.
Like, you can't, like, dude, that's just really stupid. Like, 50 languages in a school is not a good thing. This is America. We speak English. Like,
that's a good point, David, because I saw a video of this woman who was talking about her daughter, and they in their math class, her daughter's math class, they were speaking, like, all the kids spoke Spanish or something.
I saw that
and
too.
She's like, my daughter can't learn anything because you can't fucking teach. Like, all these kids, they don't understand. Like, what's going to get done? And that's why you have those, secondary language courses. Like, I took German in high school, but not every class fucking had people speaking a different language. You had a special class that you go and you take Spanish, or you take French, or you go take German for 3 years, and that's the only class that you fucking speak that in. So, what are we doing?
Yeah. It's postmodernism. Like the
Right.
philosophy that is taken over all of the philosophy departments is postmodernism. And when I was in school and we were learning this stuff, it was summarily dismissed as ridiculousness. And somehow
or mental illness.
Postmodernism somehow, like Jacques Derrida and stuff like that, they seriously somehow made every single university student for the past 20 years take it seriously, and it's garbage, and it's leading to this whole like erosion of singular truth that we all have a shared reality in some form. It's very clear that we can all come to consensus on things. So saying that consensus is irrelevant is just bad. And these same people who say that stuff, these same people who argue for that, are also saying we must protect democracy. Well, if you can't come to consensus, how do you have democracy, you idiots? So postmodernist theory is just one of the most absurd things to ever hit our brains. And it's literally sophistry formalized.
Well, do you want to know?
In the schools,
do you want to know when to know you're on the wrong side? Is when those in power are saying the same thing you are. So, when it comes to the media, if all of the media outlets are saying, shit that you agree with, probably a pretty good indicator that you're.
Here's how you know. Here's how you know you're on the wrong side. If
Okay.
you can't sit down,
We'll go around the.
if you can't sit down with someone from the other side and have a conversation with them and argue your points without screaming them down or calling them names or saying, oh, you're a fascist or a racist. If you can't sit down and argue facts, objective truth, without having to shout someone down, then you know you're on the wrong side. If someone else has to shut up for your argument to win, you're on the wrong side. If you've got to censor people for your argument to win, you're on the wrong side. You look at what's going on in Britain, bro. Like, dude,
people go to prison for a mean tweet.
Britain has fallen, man. How many, 13,000 people have been arrested for tweets? Dude, have you seen the Prevent video game that the British government released?
No.
Dude, bro, yes. Asmongold went through and played that game the other day. It was mind-blowing, man. It's like if George Orwell was put in charge of creating a video game for 1984, and it was like not ironic. That's what this Prevent video game is. It's craziness, man. It's crazy.
I saw a UK politician that got caught on audio saying, "Can we just jail them for showing the Union Jack?" They want to imprison. She wanted to imprison people in the UK for just
showing their
displaying
flag?
the Union Jack. Yeah.
Well, dude, there has to be some kind of agenda behind
globalism.
that. Because if you look at Waltz, have you seen those videos where he's replacing the state flag of Minnesota with the
Somalian flag?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be something psychological. I know from the little bit of training I got in the military when it comes to psychological operations, I know it's small things like that kind of acclimate people. And like a slow progression is it's like that analogy, that a frog in a pot of water. If you put it in and warm it up, it won't jump out. But if it's hot and you throw it in, it will jump out. So it's basically slowly warm up the water.
Yuri
Bezmenov. How would I attack America? I would attack them through their freedoms by getting left-wing useful idiots to jump on board with what I'm thinking. And like this, yes, that guy. Hey, you had that just like right up. Like, what the hell?
No, I had this is a must-have on this topic that we're all these topics we're talking about. So those of you that don't know, go look this up. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's like 13 minutes long. But in 1985, this was an interview from an ex-KGB agent from Russia. That's those of you that don't know, that's kind of like their CIA. So he defected and brought with him the knowledge, and it's like a fucking prophecy. It's like the guy has a crystal ball. For this 13 minutes, he goes into detail describing everything that's going on right now. So he talks about infiltrating the education systems like the colleges, starting the feminist movement to get both the parents out of the house, and then changing the education system so that basically they produce people that just follow rules and obey. They don't educate, they assimilate. And he goes through and he just fucking lines it all out. So if you get a chance, I highly suggest you go look at it. It's KGB defector Yuri Bezmenov. And definitely watch it. It's a must watch.
What else is really interesting on that topic, Mike and everyone, is take a look at pictures from like 1979, that first revolution in Iran. Take a look at pictures from like the Great Leap Forward and that in Maoist China. And what you'll notice is that
struggle sessions,
dude, well, like what Orwell said about the young women being the most zealous adherents to this ideology and pushing it on everyone else. Have you guys noticed that in the United States, the people who are the most crazy progressives, dude, it's awful. It's affluent white
urban housewife, white liberal women.
Always. They all look the same.
The numbers on SSRIs with them?
Yeah.
45% of Gen Z, I think, or is it Gen Alpha, are on SSRIs if they're a woman.
And those drugs,
5%.
Bro, those drugs have serious side effects, man.
One of them being
Serious.
lowered libido.
Yeah, I think, dude, like it also changes your facial structure a little bit. Like people get tardive dyskinesia. And so they start to kind of look the same. You know, you'll see hairlines recede, you'll see eyebrows thin, you'll see fat change where it is in the face.
David, I want your opinion on this. So this is totally off topic, but it's related to what you were just talking about. So this infertility, or what is going on with the decline of population? I mean, around the globe.
But what's going on is that young white women have been convinced that they need a career, they need to become a girl boss, that the family is not, you don't want to, have children until you're in your 30s, that men are part of the patriarchy.
Not just white women too. Japan has a 1.0 birth rate. China has a 1.0 birth. Actually, Japan's now 0.9. China has a 1.0 birth rate. And South Korea is cooked. They have a 7.5 birth rate. Their entire civilization's already done. And so they're done. Like their civilization is, they're done. They're done. They have they're dead. In 50 years, South Korea is going to look very different.
Basically.
Yeah.
So here, let me change my statement then. Maybe it's not about white women. Maybe it's about
liberal women.
I think maybe it's about Western women. So here's something interesting. If you go on social and you take
Eastern countries.
Well, if you take a look at like young women in Eastern European countries or in Russia, for example, and you listen to the things that these women talk about, you don't hear them talking about, I want to be a girl boss. What you hear them saying is, I can't wait to have children. And this is when I want to have children and start a family. You don't hear women in the West saying, I can't wait to have kids. You hear women in the West saying, men are evil and fuck the patriarchy. It's
instead of like our opinions, let's go straight to the lady in the chat. We got Ellie. She's a member of our community, has been since the beginning. And she's saying she was told to never rely on a man.
The reason for that is sound. Insofar as when divorce happens, women get fucked if they have no backup plan and no ability to support themselves, right? And so there's a reason that people started saying that was sound, right? And that I understand, okay? But the problem is society itself has a fundamental natural necessity to have more children. You need to at least have 2.1 children in order for society to grow. And if these liberal folks are having 2 children because they don't want to overpopulate the earth because they're afraid of climate change, then they're breeding themselves out.
Or
and so what's only going to be left is right-wing people.
I didn't have kids, but it was because of my career. I just never got around to it.
I'm working on it, right, Hapu? Anyway, so full disclosure, I have a vasectomy, but I froze my sperm and I got 18 vials of frothy goodness just hanging out in the Fairfax cryobank. I'm ready to go. All I need is a microwave with a good defrost setting and a turkey baster.
That's right.
I'm ready.
That's right.
I'm ready. So,
and I see a lot of women here in California that are pushing. I don't want kids. I don't want kids. I don't know how many. Women, it's very rare that I come across a woman out here that's like, oh yeah, I'm down to have kids. And that could be the financial issue as well. But
I love these videos where it's just like, I'm supposed to be an independent feminist woman, but then he gave me my credit card and said, get whatever, babe. And I was just like, and I'm like, this is an innate thing. This is a lizard brained fucking thing. And they're denying a natural impulse. Right?
Yeah.
And by denying their natural impulse, they're denying our natural impulse, and then they wonder why men are acting like children playing video games all day.
Well, another reason for that.
We checked out of society. We need kids to anchor us to society.
Well, the other reason for that is I think that men have become less masculine. I mean, they demonized, toxic
masculine. No kids.
Well, but you look at, with the mother out of the house, but you had single mothers, and most school teachers, most teachers in schools are also women. So basically, you have single mother households. You have the dad that's at work all day, doesn't see the kids all day long. And a lot of times, not at all. And because, again, split. But I think a lot of young men out there, they never got taught what it means to be an actual man. And I'm not talking about, running around, sleeping around and, pounding beers and, freaking smashing shit with your head. I don't mean that. I mean being a man of your word, having integrity, getting up, going to work, even though you hate your job, to provide for your family that you love and care for, and, being a member of the community and, trying to help other people when you can, just being what a man used to.
That's a fraction of it. I think that's a good fraction of it. I would also say that there's another side to this, which is that there are fathers who have been told to suppress the masculine stuff with the whole toxic masculinity stuff. Like, just to be clear, like, my father is not very masculine. Like, he's just not. Like, he's also a therapist. Like, he's raised in that environment. My mom's a hardcore feminist, and like, they had 3 kids, and like, I was raised in a household where it was very like man-hating, I guess you could call it, and it was even coming from my father.
Well, dude, let's dive into that. I want to peel that back. So in your household, with that very left-leaning, growing up, because obviously you've kind of gone the other direction and you're a little more right-leaning, or you'd be considered right-leaning.
Yeah, I really haven't changed from the 2000s. Like, that's the thing.
I get that, and that's what I'm getting at. Is I was raised in a openly. My mom, she admits that she's basically socialist, and I was raised by that. Just, it sounds like you were kind of the same way, very, very left-leaning.
I would say that's one thing I changed. I learned about economics.
Well,
right? Exactly.
What was your aha moment? Because I want to ask freaking Jeff this as well, because I know that he has some family like that. Colin, what was your aha moment where you're like, all that I was taught as a kid is fucking wrong? That's not how the world works.
I had a lot of them, and there were a lot of small ones. So my evolution actually has nothing to do with my family, who I never really had like a lot of contact with after I left the house. I mean, I still did, but like, it wasn't like I was like always with them. I moved away, right? So my aha moments didn't come from them. It came from when I went to college, and about in 2005, I moved in with a guy named Noel, who's my roommate. And he was in the theater department, and I started hanging out with the theater kids. This is the first time I encountered gender ideology. And they were telling me about like they, them stuff. And I'm like, that's not real. And they were like, you'll get there. And I'm like, no, I don't think I will. And like literally they were saying some of the most absurd shit I've ever heard. Like, why can't men have babies? And women and men should play in the same sports. And they literally were saying this in 2005. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. They're also like professed communists. And they're theater kids, so like literally, and so like I'm
3 strikes, you're out.
Here's the thing, like they were the best people to party with, like absolutely the best.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I partied with them, so I just kept my mouth shut most of the time. I was just like, yeah, okay, maybe men could be women. I don't know enough about this. Let me just move on with my life, right? And so like, but eventually like I started encountering this more and more, and so I saw it. I even took a trans woman into my home and realized this person is severely mentally ill. Not like a little bit, like a lot. And then I started encountering more of these people, and it was actually these experiences. They say that exposure to things makes you more tolerant of those things, but if those things are crazy, it has the opposite effect. And so my divorce from this was a gradual process over 15 years where I encountered more and more events in my life which made me go, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong, until eventually I'm just like, why is this wrong? And then eventually I'm just like, oh, that's why. And this is kind of like how my process went. So it's not like I had like one big event or one big turning thing. It was more like I encountered a lot of people, and through my experiences, bless their souls, they're fun to party with. And I really don't wish grief or pain on them, but at the same time, I'm not going to enable them
exactly.
in their negative behaviors. And that's what I determined what was happening.
Identify how you want, live your life how you want, but don't expect me to play along. Absolutely.
And honestly,
Jeff,
guys, I'm sorry.
real quick. I want you to go next, David, because I have a feeling that maybe at one point you were maybe considered more left leaning and kind of woke up.
I certainly considered myself to be more left leaning at one point.
Yeah.
I had 2 events that woke me up. I'll talk about it in a second.
All right, Jeff, go ahead.
So we weren't really big political in the household. We didn't really talk politics and stuff growing up. But, I lived in South Carolina, and in 2008, I voted for Obama. I was in college, about to graduate. And then 2012, I was going to vote for him again, but I was out of town, so I couldn't vote. And we watched the election. I was in Alabama at the time for work. And I was like, yeah, Obama, whatever. But not thinking like, oh, well, he fucked up by bailing out all the banks and people in the recession. But I was like, oh, yeah, he killed Osama and all this shit. And 3 years later, 2015, I moved back to California because that's where I'm originally from. And then over the years, I was just like, there's I don't care, you want to live life LGBTQ. I have a lot of friends out here that are on that side, and even one that transitioned, but he was in his 30s when he did it. So
he, she.
I don't know
which pronoun is that? I don't know. See, this is a fucking pronoun.
Was it he? Was it he? Now
she turned into a he. Was it he? She? Yeah. Are you misgendering? Is this happening?
That's
I'm gonna scream.
Really,
Sorry.
during, I think it was COVID that actually set me okay, I don't align with these people anymore. I have some people, what was Rogan say, fiscally conservative and socially liberal, certain things I agree with on both sides. There's things but this extreme shit that I had friends that were asking my ex, hey, is Jeff a Trump supporter? Is he MAGA? Is he this and that? And I was like, dude, I'm just pointing out, all during COVID, I had friends that didn't want to hang out with me because I was a anti-vaxxer and all this shit. And I'm like, guys, this is fucking crazy. Can you not see you're being played? All the propaganda, and they didn't want to listen to it. And it just kind of pushed me more to there's something wrong. There's something seriously wrong. And I'll admit, I like certain animes and stuff, but there's a cartoon that I really enjoyed, just because of the storyline and character development. It's called Steven Universe. But looking back and seeing all the LGBTQ propaganda in that show, I was like, I can't believe I used to recommend my brothers to have their kids watch this, because there's certain underlying things in this show that are pushing that ideology, and kids shouldn't be learning about that. It's a great cartoon, but I can't, you should be an adult watching it, and because of the stories and stuff. And
Gotcha.
And I'm like,
Colin, are you chatting with your lady in the chat?
No.
Why? You should be chatting.
So
you should be flirting.
Hi, Hapu. She's not talking. Hi, Hapu.
And now that I'm, wanting to find a partner to, eventually have kids with, it's hard in California to. Oh yeah.
Can men get pregnant?
Yeah. Find me a wifey. Find me a boo. But being in California, I find it harder and harder for me to find that, because the women out here have values way different than myself. And even if they think I'm a moderate, they're going to be, oh, well, you're MAGA head. And it's just, it's nauseating.
As for the partner thing, I pick my battles, guys. You know what I mean? If somebody wants to say significant other, I go, okay, well, now you're just leaving questions in my head.
Yeah.
Partner, it's but I don't need to have those questions answered, so fuck it. I pick my fucking battles, right?
Yeah.
you know, like it doesn't bother me that.
I don't care less how somebody lives. You know, it's again none of my business. Like you said earlier, Colin, just don't make me play along with your little game.
Yeah. If I call your husband, and you correct me and say partner or significant other, that's where I go, but isn't he your husband? You know what I mean? That's where I'm like, okay, now you're correcting my language, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But if they want to use that language, I don't care, right?
Yeah. Right, but the problem though, Colin, is that this leads down a road, and then at the end of the road, you get to compelled speech, where you must use particular pronouns.
My point.
Or,
that's my
or
point.
whatever.
When you start correcting my speech, that's where I say, go fuck yourself. But whatever speech you want to say, I respect in the same way you should respect the fact that I want to say something. But they don't think it's a two-way street. And so this is my problem with it.
Yeah, but we've got too much.
Jeff wanted to say partner. Jeff, that's the language you like to use. I'm cool with that. Maybe you're gay.
I got a buzz going, and I want to make sure that we get to David. David.
So I think that we've got too much tolerance. Like we're tolerant of stuff that we should not be tolerant of. Like
the paradox of tolerance. Yeah,
hold on.
Who said that?
David, I want to hear your aha moment. I want to hear your
origin. Sure. So let me give you.
Transitioned. We all went from being left leaning, and we transitioned to being
right leaning. You transitioned.
Don't be transphobic. If you're left leaning out there and you're listening to this, don't be transphobic. We all transitioned from left to right, and you're not allowed to critique us on it.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I had two events in my life that really, I had an awakening, but like to the good side. So the first one was the COVID shots. So, the thing for me was after I got the second COVID shot, dude, I was so sick after that second shot. It was like the first time I got COVID, the Delta, I was sick for about a week. But the second COVID shot, it was like that week of COVID condensed into one 24-hour period. I thought I was going to fucking die. Like I was really sick. Now I recovered, but that was the first moment for me because I started looking around and what I saw on the ground, what I was doing in healthcare, and then what I saw on the TV or on the phone, social media or legacy media, what I saw in media and what I saw on the ground, those two things didn't jive.
Conflicting data.
That was the first thing for me where it was like, okay, well, all of these media sources are completely full of shit. That was the first thing. The second thing was when I really started to make money. Like when I started making real money, and then I started realizing like, holy shit, I'm going to have a 6-figure tax bill this year.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, what does...
You get an economics lesson real quick when you start making money.
That's what happened to me too, man. I got a 7-figure tax bill. I was like, where is this going?
Right. And then so
the
guys,
IRS doesn't care what you identify as.
You're telling me, why do you care? Why do you care? Why do you care? It's like, fuck you. If you had a 7-figure tax bill, you would start checking.
Exactly. The reason why people who don't really make a lot of money don't care is because they don't understand money. Like, so I started learning about money. And I started learning about money really as I started building DeFi stuff and learning about DeFi and incentive structures. And so when you learn about money and incentive structures, and then you take a look at the dollar and the Federal Reserve System with the collateral and the debt and how they're the two sides of the same coin. And then you start to think to yourself, well, this is kind of like a really shitty meme coin that you can just mint more of. Like the US, the Federal Reserve System is like a shitty meme coin.
Look at the tokenomics of the dollar. I mean, just like you do in a crypto, infinite supply, like you just said.
Inflationary, infinite supply, backed by nothing except maybe the full might of the U.S. military at some points.
That's pretty much it.
What do you think is going on with Jerome Powell?
Man, Jerome Powell is he's not single-handedly responsible for the price inflation that we've experienced. I think you can, bring it back to 1971 and, no longer having the backing from gold. But you could really look at what Bernanke did in 2008 and then how Yellen continued those policies. But if you're asking me what I think of Powell, I think that
what's going on with him right now, the current events.
Right now? Yeah, so is he...
Do you think he's out? I mean, they're trying to prosecute him. They served him. Like, he might be, like, going to prison.
So I haven't read enough about what he's accused of doing. From my understanding is that he's
That's next week episode, then.
Yeah, he's spent, like, a ridiculous sum of money to rebuild a relatively small building, and he lied about it in Congress. That's my understanding. It's
their new office, because there was that the news was there, and him and Trump were wearing the hard hats, and Trump was like going over the overages.
Straight clowned his ass.
Like, well, I don't know if that's the numbers, and he like handed him a piece of paper. He's like, "Here's the numbers," like on camera.
Colin, I think what he's being investigated for is lying to Congress. I think that's what the investigation is about, right? But I have no idea whether he's actually guilty or not. I haven't read into it enough. But it definitely looks like Trump is working to make sure that the FOMC is packed with doves who will do his bidding. That's what it looks like to me.
I think we're going to get rid of the Fed.
We should. The Fed is an illegal, unconstitutional fourth branch of government.
It's not even a branch of government. It's a private bank, and you can't even own shares in it.
Yeah.
And this is the greatest grift ever performed in world history. Actually, we can yell about Somalians all we want. Full disclosure, I got my break into crypto. This is going to interest you guys. I got my break into crypto from a company. Well, first I got my break into crypto because I started working on Ethereum early, did some stuff on their clients. That was fun. And then I asked I said I want to get in a blockchain. I looked for a job for 2 months, couldn't find one. Eventually was like, hey, Ethereum guys, like, because I believed in Ethereum. I bought my first Bitcoin to buy Ethereum. So like
Colin, when did you buy your first Bitcoin? I'm curious.
This was too late. This is either late 2015 or early 2016. And I bought it I went to localbitcoin.com or something like that. And then I met some shady ass guy who told me he was a pharmacist and a doctor at a Starbucks with another guy behind him who looked like a fucking pedophile. And he was next in line after me, so I could instantly get my local Bitcoin. And then I took that Bitcoin and I bought Ethereum at average of $2 per Ethereum.
Oh, fucking A, bro. That's right.
Well, I didn't have it forever.
You're David Tiro now.
I had to capitulate to keep my life going at some point. So like a year later, fast forward like early 2017, I almost like decked the person they put above me as a boss at this company. Long story short, I rejoined a company that I helped create because I tried to start my own business for 4 years and it didn't work out. Rejoined the company, I left. They decided to put a guy on top of me as senior vice president. I get like massive applause for saving the company that year, and then he gets like instantly jealous, starts picking a fight with me, and on my way out, like he's threatening me, and on my way out, I throw my badge at him. They catch that on camera and say, we can't hire you and we can't do anything about him because you were on camera for this and he wasn't on camera for what he was doing. So I lost that job, but I already had quit. Obviously, I threw my fucking badge, but like they wanted me more than him is what I'm trying to tell you, even though that's like sounds not like that. But anyway, that put me in a depression, and my buddy was like, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to get into crypto full time. And so I tried to look for a crypto job for 2 months, and every application out there like deployed it. Remember, this is 2016. They were saying, we need somebody who's got 10 years experience modifying the Bitcoin core. And I'm like, it hasn't even been out for 10 years.
we need a time traveler.
Yeah, it was wild. And so I basically went to Fabian Vogelsteller, the guy who drafted the ERC-20 standard. And I said, hey, man, remember...
That's a great name, man. What a great name.
It was Frozeman on GitHub. I was like, hey, you don't know me that well. We worked on the Geth client together a little bit here and there to help do some timing issues. He goes, I remember you. You were very early in the project. Yeah. I really want to get into blockchain. I'm ready to go full time. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much it pays. I will go anywhere. I will do anything. And he connected me with a group called Animal Ventures. Animal Ventures was run by Tom Saris and his partner, Bettina Warburg. And they're a couple. So Bettina Warburg, I don't know if you know the Warburg name. But
So banking, right?
Paul Warburg was basically the creator of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
And when she said, and I didn't know this at the time because I didn't know my history, but when she said, my family has a small bank, she's talking about the Federal fucking Reserve. And so this is how I learned about this stuff, because I was literally working with the Rothschilds. And so I'm sitting
the Colonel, the Rothschilds.
And when I say I'm working with them, I'm at their house having dinner every night. It's just me and them. And my buddy John Fitch, who was Tom's friend. And I was the only coder, so they needed me to help get this off the ground because they were exploring blockchain, and a lot of weird shit happened that year, man. A lot of weird shit happened that year. I mean, it changed my definition of weird, and ever since has changed my definition of weird. So the long story short is that
you can't leave us hanging like that, man. What's an example of something weird? I want to hear it.
Are we talking baby oil weird? Or are we talking
what type of weird?
Okay, how's this? I'm at a meeting with Merck, and they're like, hey, I'm like, hey, what's your redundancies for all your systems? You got a lot of stuff going on here. It's delivering very essential stuff for your supply chain, because we were doing contracting work with them. I believe that I could talk about that now. If I'm not, fucking I don't know, sue me? I don't know. But I was doing some blockchain exploration work for them with Craig Kennedy, the head of their supply chain. And we were in a meeting, and I was talking to the head of their IT. I was like, hey, so what's your redundancy like? You have really good systems, but you have really important systems. How do you handle a catastrophic failure? It's just talk at shop. And he goes, oh, well, we have systems in all over the world, in Ukraine and everything. And I'm like, well, what if they all go
Ukraine?
down? Yeah, what if they all go down? Hold on. What if they all go down at once? It gets better. What if they all go down at once? Well, I mean, we have backup systems. We back up all our data to Puerto Rico. I'm like, Puerto Rico?
They have one of the worst power grids.
That's a hurricane zone, man. What happens if a hurricane hits? He goes, what are the odds that all of our systems go down and then a hurricane hits? Fast forward 2 months later, a variant of the WannaCry virus, the Petya virus, gets infiltrated into their Ukraine facility.
No way.
Spreads all across Merck's systems globally. This is public data. Spreads all across globally. Wipes out 90,000 machines like that. Breaks every single fucking hard drive. Every system's fucked, right? And they're just asking for ransom, and they, obviously it's a scam. Honestly, I think it was a Russian attack. And so they're done. They're done. And so they're spending 2 weeks trying to get Dell to ship them new computers. By the way, Dell did do that. It was amazing. They shipped them 90,000 new machines like that. They got them up and running within 2 months. All of our contracts got delayed, which sucks. But here's the real kicker. Right as they're getting at the end of that, Maria comes and right into Puerto Rico and wipes out that whole fucking island. And I'm thinking here, didn't I just have a conversation about this literally 2 months ago with this guy? How weird is it that suddenly happened? And it wasn't just one thing like that in my life. Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm like, how much power do these guys actually have? Do they really? Do the Jewish bankers really control the weather? So I'm seriously and then I look into cloud seeding and stuff, and I'm like, that's totally possible. And
oh, yeah. you went down the hole.
So I'm kind of they would send me random shit too. They'd be like, hey, what's up with this island in this middle of I forget the name of the island, St. George's or something, something else in the middle of the Atlantic. There's a lot of money coming through here. I'm like, why are you sending me this, and where did you get it? Well, we're just curious. I look at it and go, oh, well, it's pretty clear. They're running in parity with the British pound, and they go, "Oh, thank you," and then zip off, and I don't hear from them for a week, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then I realized there's some connections to WEF with these folks, and that's how I got into the crypto space. So, like, that was a wild year, and I left that behind with a quickness. So yeah, that was an interesting story. I don't know if you cared, but like,
no,
it's great, man.
The world is
very
so
interesting
much weirder
story.
than I think even I know or any of us actually know. It's super weird, like super weird. I heard people who were associated with government agencies talking in 2019 about how they wish they could replace all their coders with AI right now, and this is 2019. So they had LLMs way before anybody else. And,
obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
anything that we're seeing now is like stuff that they probably had like 5 years ago, around there.
Oh, the LLM stuff happened. Like, there's another story. I tell people this all the time. I got recruited by the CIA, and this was after I left Animal Ventures, and this was. It's not something I have to be private about. I go to this job at this small government contractor, Section 8 contractor, and I'm like, hey, they actually came to me 2 weeks after I left Animal Ventures, and they offered me this huge salary and great benefits. I'm like, dope, I need a job, let's go. And so I sign up for this job, and it's great. And then they come in. They say they're going to give me a CTO position. And then before I even get there, they say, actually, we're not going to make you CTO. We're going to make you principal engineer. There's another guy named Rob who we're going to put above you because he can go over the wall. And I'm like, what does that mean? They go, oh, it just means he has the best security clearance possible. I'm like, okay. I get there on my first day at the job. I start talking to Rob, and he's like, and I piece it together. He's like, I'm with asset acquisition. I'm like, oh, so you just like get like water and stuff for the CIA? He's like, because this is how naive I was at the time. He's like, no, I get people who want to be, yeah. And so I'm here like, I'm like, oh fuck, I panic immediately, and then I just start talking. And a lot of the things I said were things like, no civilization has ever survived when they lost control of their own currency. That is the death of civilization. The moment that happens, bloodshed always happens throughout history, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, dude.
And he said...
Roman Empire, what guys are always thinking about. The Roman Empire, that's how they fell.
We can't talk anymore. When I said that, bloodshed always happens. He said, psh, I'm sorry, we cannot speak anymore. There will be no more conversation. I will come back to you in a week. Guys with military fatigues come up, wire up the entire fucking WeWork facility that week, and then I'm listening like literally 3 weeks later, and Senator Sherman is I forget where he's from actually. He was talking about cryptocurrency and its threats to Congress, and since I was monitoring this at the time, and I realized, hey, he's saying the exact same thing I said in that office. How weird is the exact same thing and my exact words coming out of a fucking senator's mouth? Like, so I am not a federal agent, but for a time in my life, I was definitely Fed adjacent. And so, like,
so you became
Colin was bi-federal. Colin was bi-federal.
I don't have a problem with the feds. That's the funny thing is, like, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want to. I want to sleep. So like, yeah, I want to sleep. I've worked with auditing firms for like ledger devices and stuff, and he was like, hey. We work at I live out of Centerville. I'm like, oh, I used to live in Centerville, Virginia. He's like, oh, that's cool. Were you with the government? And I know what that code means. And I was like, no, I got recruited. And I said no, and I walked away from it. And he goes, you are a much smarter man than I am. Part of the reason I said no is because I looked at the people I was working with, and they all looked fucking like traumatized. Like they were traumatized. Like some of them, like one of the project managers I worked with, she was traumatized. You could see it, her hands shook all the time, and like she looked like she hasn't slept in like years. And like these people see shit. Remember that guy who set himself on fire because of the Gaza genocide?
Yeah.
Like Like that's the kind of I could totally see why somebody who had to witness certain things would do that. Like this is like extreme stuff that they see, and I mean, and they have to participate in and make decisions on, and maybe get people killed. And I don't want to. I want to sleep. I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep at night. That's all I want. I just want to sleep at night. You know?
Those are some good stories, though, bro.
Very, very good stories. That was awesome. Thanks for sharing those.
You know, so here, let me ask you guys something. Why is it that, you know, we can all think and talk about, you know, Nazis and you know, Nazi Germany, and we know that's evil, right? We can come out and say, oh, that's totally evil. It's taught in the schools, so that's totally evil. And yet, when it comes to communism and the, you know, the sickle and the hammer and communist ideas, like you'll see people in the street waving a hammer and sickle flag. And you'll see people, like, especially in Berkeley, but now all over the country at schools, like coming out as openly communist. And you see that all over the place. Why is it that we don't teach in school the evil of communism? Because if we're honest, there have been so many more people killed by, you know, communism than National Socialism. Like if you just look at the numbers.
David, it wasn't done right that time.
Yeah,
you're
it's
right.
different.
Or
It's
the
different
time
this
before
time.
that.
Oh,
Or the
you're
time
right. You know, so it must be that Mamdani's going to get it right, because he's got this brain trust in Saya Weaver, she's going to get it all right, man.
All right, David, kick us off. Great segue. Mamdani and New York. Let's start diving into that. That will be how we close out the show. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think that he was elected because the demographics have changed drastically in New York City. I think that New York City is mostly not Americans. I think that it's mostly people who are foreign born. And it looks to me like what Mamdani is going to do is he's going to do his best to drive out the tax base, destroy the businesses in New York City, and implement this insane policy through Saya Weaver of rent control and seizing private property. That's really what it looks like. It looks like they're going to do their very best to destroy New York City.
Well, what you're talking about, and I apologize if that's not the right word, but it's basically, I saw a video the other day where he was touring like a bunch of the apartment buildings, and like the floor was coming up in one of the bathrooms. And I mean, it was, you know, the apartments, you know, was pretty beat up, but some of the stuff that you're talking about was straight out of his mouth. And let the viewers know that lady that the name you mentioned is the one that he put in charge of housing, correct?
Yeah. And she says that homeownership is white supremacy. So like, dude, like that's so retarded. Like, and so what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to steal property. That's what they're going to try to do. And whether they'll be able to get away with it or not, well, you know, that's where, you know, Big Daddy Trump and the federal government have to step in at some point and say, hey, you know what? We're going to sue you, New York City, if you start seizing the property of private citizens. And I don't know if that's actually going to happen.
I think he actually won because of, by the way, I did just double check my instinct on this. It's actually young women. 84% of young women.
Of the women, yeah.
Exactly.
They had overwhelming majority.
And it was white women, by the way. White voters, it was white young women especially. So, it was 55% of women, but it was 84% of women under 30. And that amplified the vote and kicked him over. He won by 50.8%. So if he wasn't a pretty boy, I don't think I don't.
Well,
think
and you had Cuomo and Adams who were running against him, who were pretty much like already fucked up anyways. So, you know, who do you expect?
That's in the primary, right? Adams dropped out, didn't get. He's still
Adams dropped out like right before the election.
Yeah.
Well, Matt's going to stop by for the last little bit here.
Yeah, man. But what's going on in New York? Like, why don't the voters in New York understand that communism doesn't work? It's never worked.
They do.
It will never work. And yet,
the voters?
yeah, why don't they get that?
Honestly, I think that most of them don't understand how the world works, and they just like the idea that, and in their defense, I mean, look at the education a lot of them came up in, and also look at most of them are struggling right now, and like they have no hope of ever owning a home. Groceries have doubled and tripled.
Capitalism.
Yeah, well, it's crony capitalism. Not it's not capitalism. It's
but they lump it all together as just capitalism. They don't. Like corporate capitalism is a problem, and they don't really distinguish between all this stuff. It's like conflating
people need to be incentivized to innovate and to build. Otherwise, nobody's going to do anything. It's like if you're going to get the same pay for doing nothing or going to work, which are you going to do?
What's the saying from Soviet Russia? They pretend to pay us, so we pretend to work.
Yeah,
that's apropos.
What have you seen when these people go and ask these college kids, like, okay, if somebody gets a 1.0 GPA, are you going to share your 4.0 with them so they can be equal? They're like, no. If they're not going to do any work, then and their brains just like can't comprehend that in the real world. It's like you see the fucking translation here, right?
It's also the participation trophy culture. So I'm actually reading Starship Troopers right now, and one of the teachers in the book, it's different than the movie, gives a really good analogy. He said,
"Yeah, I like that one
movie.
too.
I love
me too.
But I watch it every year, maybe twice. But it's supposed to be parody, but I don't know. Anyway, or satire. The teacher Dubois is Rico's actual teacher in the book, and he says, "I'm gonna give you the first place trophy, the grand prize for the 100-meter dash," and Rico gets pissed at him and is like, "I didn't earn that. I did not earn that. That's not mine." He gets actually mad at him. He goes, "Exactly. That's my point. Nothing that you don't earn has any value." And what Marx got wrong in his original, like Das Kapital, is to say that labor itself has innate value. It doesn't. And that's what capitalism corrects, right? It allows for a free market to have an approximate average market price to actually determine what value actually is. When you have a top-down approach, the government is dictating what value is, and that doesn't reflect reality for a multitude of reasons. One, government bias, and two, because the government doesn't have perfect information to actually decide what a good formula for that value should look like. And this is why everything breaks down, is because people don't understand that. All they think is, I want my participation trophy for being a laborer.
Well, yeah, for showing up. But like you said, it's the value isn't that you showed up and that you're like your presence, that your presence is worth money. It's the value you generate from the job that you do. If the work that you are doing is, makes the company more than you cost, then hold on. We got, let's see if we can add him to stage. There we go. All right.
Shit. Things are about to get crazy.
That's right.
Bluey.
What's up, Matt? What's going on?
Matt, your mic is either muted or not connected correctly.
Oh, man. Freaking Bluey.
Hello?
There you go.
I was filling my sharks here with dollar bills.
Are they strippers? Are they stripper sharks?
Way. I would never give a stripper 100. What are you talking about, bro?
Are you filling them full of hundreds?
100, a 50, 2 20s, and a 10.
You owe me 300.
Yes, I do. You want all the sharks?
I'll take it in arena.
Okay.
Oh,
I gotta find something to bridge my sharks into arena, but we can do that for sure. I gotta bridge my sharks into arena. So
let me know if you find that bridge. That'd be an interesting bridge.
Why don't you just tip it to
very
these
niche
guys?
Very niche.
You want me to tip it to these guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me find
Oh,
my other
shit.
shark first. I just got nervous. I
Thanks,
just lost a shark. Give me 1
I
second.
tipped you 100 earlier. You didn't say shit, man.
Tip 2.
Who did you tip?
You.
Oh shit! I haven't been watching the chat.
I realized of all of us cares the absolute least about money. He lives in a cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
But he lives in a tent by himself.
Then spread the love somewhere else.
Yeah, no. Or stake it and become a champion for your channel.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
That's what we do with it. All
Okay,
arena.
you stake it all. That's what I thought.
Yeah, all the crypto that we get, like all the donations.
Because you're
and,
Mr. DeFi, so of course you're going to stake it.
Of course.
Moats was integrated into the arena today. Woo!
Oh shit!
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Unless I'm crazy. Hold on. Can I share my screen?
What does that mean?
Moats is a DeFi protocol for beginners and people that own meme coins to learn how to stake, lock, and burn. Hold on. I'm pretty sure they announced it and everything.
I saw you talking about it. I meant to go look at it.
But I got to be honest. When I was talking to you about it, I did not think that Jason and Miner in 1 week would integrate it into an app on the arena. Like,
yeah.
I knew that they had just started talking finally, but I didn't think it was going to be like this rapid thingy. So hold on. Let me try to.
A thingy.
Does your audience on like YouTube and X know a lot about Arena yet, or
they do now?
Is that
big
inappropriate
time.
to talk about? I mean, obviously, I'm pitching it my way. You know,
no, 100%. Oh,
dude, I
talk about Arena all day long.
I want to help Arena grow. It's like I prefer Arena over YouTube and everything else, just because I don't have to worry about getting throttled. Like if I say the wrong thing or I curse or, it's just I want to support platforms that support liberty, that support freedom of speech.
Also, it has really good splits, and you can
What's that?
stake your Arena, huh?
What's splits?
So when you get like a subscription on Twitch, right? Like 50, 60, depending on what you're ranked.
Oh, like an affiliate program or something like that?
That goes to Jeff Bezos, but like only 2% goes to the Arena when you tip on the Arena. So like this is in Kick it's 95% goes to you, on Arena 98% goes to you. So the splits are the split between the company and you when you actually get revenue sent to you. And also payments are instant. So because it's crypto. And it's peer-to-peer because it's crypto.
Nice.
So there's so it's
I love it. It sounds great.
So I onboarded this.
Well, David, our new show that we're going to be doing, freaking daily at noon, it's going to be on the Arena.
Hell yeah, it is.
And there is going to be a new airdrop related to the Arena that I can't talk about in February. So, but in February, I'll let you. I'll ask Jason if we can reveal the airdrop on the show. That'd be cool.
Sweet, dude. That'd be badass.
Has a native token called Arena, and you can launch tokens and pair it with Arena.
True.
Pair it with Avalanche, and if you are a champion in the top 500 champions of staked Arena, so you stake the Arena, you get 10% more Arena in return for staking, and if you're in the top 500 champions, every time a token launches and bonds, you don't have to monitor the trenches anymore. You automatically get some of that token sent to you just for being a champion in the Arena. So you always get a taste of everything.
It's distributed between the 500.
Hell yeah! Then
you get a taste of everything.
But then Matt, whatever you send me, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep staking it because I want to be a champion.
Man, you should launch an Arena stablecoin.
Like 200,000 right now, 300,000.
I want an Arena stablecoin.
I gotta say, Jeff is cracking me up. Jeff looks like he's like on one of those videos of somebody who's taken hostage or he's a POW. I am safe and they are treating me well.
My name's Jeff.
Dude, I think you're muted. Your address, bro.
Oh no, I'm still here.
Okay, there you
go. Oh
shit,
I love that. Yeah, I'm not
What's
getting
that?
I bought it for you.
Raised on the street.
I'll talk to you about that later.
Yeah, no, don't give me your address on here.
I got a Dropbox. You could use that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm looking at all the InfoFi shit that's going on today. The Kaito and all the yappers and shit. So,
dude, people are so angry about this whole thing.
Yeah, saying that they're not going to reward projects that are pushing InfoFi, and so. People
who said that?
someone from the Twitter dev.
Oh yeah,
team.
what's his face? The guy that everybody hates right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nikita Bear.
Nikita Bear, yeah, the bear.
Yeah. We will no longer allow apps that reward users for posting on X, aka InfoFi. It's led to a tremendous amount of AI slop and reply spam. And people are pissed. Kaito Tank.
They're not wrong. Okay, I'm going to get in trouble, but crypto bros are going to get mad at me. X is not wrong. Like, it's a bunch of GM bullshit. Like, why would we want to put ourselves in a bubble and force them not to push us to regular people, right? Because we have our own lingo, our own this and our own that. It's like, it's silliness. It's just so dumb. And I like InfoFi if it's natural. Like the one that we always use just seems to track what people are doing. It's not like you win something because you're doing AI slop, right? What's the one that Colin, that Zen always posts?
Which one?
She always posts pictures of the InfoFi with the people at the different like breakdowns of how much arena.
Cookie?
Yeah, cookie.fun is not rewarding a ton. What they're doing is giving you the credibility, like the street cred. So you do win like the ability to say, look, I'm really present in this community, right? Whereas Kaido and the other one, it's all about winning money. And you get money by just like bombing people with endless shizzle that nobody wants to see.
All that shizzle. Shizzle, man.
I was going to text you, David, but I'll just say it here. When we talk this weekend, let's make sure that we set you up in an Arena account, because we can stream it to your Arena account as well, so you can grow your presence there.
Oh, for sure, 100%, man.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say I onboarded a female. What would she be? Oh, she's the manager of the top 200 female influencers in Canada.
The manager, you say?
She manages a whole suite of social media. I mean, they do a lot of commercial acting, and in Canada it does have a film industry. It's just we never see them because they just do Canadian shows, right? So they're actors. They're just not actors here. They're usually in Vancouver or Toronto. And she was put on. You remember who you talked to on the phone about the visa stuff? I made her become a champion, Colin. She bought 1.2 million.
Hell yeah.
So she's number 422, I think, right now.
Nice.
She staked them. She's stoked because she had her avalanche go from 11,000 to 3,000. She was ready to cry. And then I convinced her that she might even do well if she just converts 2/3 of that into arena. And now she's like, I'm a champion. And it only cost me $11,000.
Jesus.
But so what is it? It's like the top 20 people?
No, 500.
Oh, top 500. Okay.
Yep. So Colin's number 1 by a very large margin. Then there's number 2, 3, and 4 who are all sort of fighting around 50 million. And then there's everybody else, which is from like 30 to 1 million. I think number 500 has 900,000 staked.
Well, I didn't realize it. Ellie's saying that she joined Arena back in 2003.
No, 2003. Crypto didn't exist in 2003.
Or sorry, 2023. Sorry.
Yeah, that's possible. That was before me.
No, she would know. You know, she's definitely younger. I'd say probably like mid-20s.
So that was before the rug.
Sorry, I'm looking at her campsite right now.
She's the OG.
Wait, whose campsite?
Nobody's.
Wait, what? What just happened?
Hi, Ellie.
He looked up Ellie, I guess.
I did, and that's interesting. Anyway.
Wait a minute. What the hell did I just miss?
She's such a cool girl. She hangs out with Discord, and she's always messing with the guys in there.
Yeah,
and
we need more of that. We need more of that. Don't listen to Colin. I can't see the comment. I don't know where the hell we are right now. I'm like trying to find.
There's no comment. I just followed her account on YouTube, followed it down to
Oh,
her
it's
X,
a YouTube person.
And then saw there was a link tree, clicked it, I was like, there's campsites on here. Oh.
You're like,
gentleman, what can I say?
Yeah,
hi,
on the arena, they think we're donezo. And you get and you get a badge for airdrops if you're a champion, a whole bunch of other things. Man, they're making fun of us on the arena right now. He said, Cole Juice said, Ellie will get your attention. I'm not on YouTube, so I don't know what they're talking about. So,
well, in the Discord, she's shared some photos in the Discord. I'll say
she's trying to be provocative, as Kanye West would put it.
I'll just say that she was very popular.
Help boost morale during the downturn
during the days of the dumps.
She was very generous. I can sense it.
She lifted morale.
Generous. She's a very generous girl. Morale. Don't know her, but I sense the generosity. Here I found the. I think I found the app.
Malik is a good Catholic boy.
That's not something you can put on that LED screen behind you.
I mean, I did put a cat in a bikini though.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did put a cat in a bikini. Colin, you would have died. The person's like, no, make it in the bikini. I don't know why.
Different kind of cat.
What?
Different kind of cat.
How the fuck do you get banned from OnlyFans?
What?
Let's bring Ellie up.
Wait.
He has been a bad girl.
Get dressed. We're gonna talk
girl.
Now. How do you get banned from OnlyFans?
Hold on. My question for Ellie, was it for being a bad girl or a good girl?
Right.
Like, how do you
get banned from
OnlyFans? Depends on your definitions.
Exactly.
For being a prude, or for being like you were using like. I can only think of one thing that was banned for. I don't want to say it out loud.
Prude. Puma literally has an OnlyFans where she just posts her cross stitching. It's hilarious.
No, I know girls that have made a lot of money. Okay, right when OnlyFans came out in LA, there were these girls of Instagram that had like 400 to 800,000 Instagram followers, and they were very attractive. And they just posted they were starting an Instagram, but never posted any pictures other than what was on their Instagram. And they got like, let's say 1,000 people to sign up right away off their first thing, and never put up a picture. And most of the guys just forgot. So they went like 6 to 8 months making like 20 to 40K a month, and never once said a word to anybody. And to be honest, that was pretty smart. I would have done that if I could. If I could have done that, I would have done that. And then everybody would be like, you have an OnlyFans account. And they'd be like, well, oh yeah, you mean my Instagram pictures put on a different website? Yeah, yep, I do. And then occasionally somebody would be like, "That you're like a cheating OnlyFans girl," and they'd be like, well, "What does that mean? You mean I don't have to like show my badge?" Yeah, that's right, I am. I was always very confused because I'd never been on it. I'm afraid to go on that website. First of all,
it's not easy to get crazy.
The whole
What's
thing.
that?
I feel like
I told you things are going to get crazy now that Malik is here.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we went from talking about like politics and like I
didn't bring up Ellie or OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. This is the influence. This is the energy you bring to the room, Matt.
Big dick energy. Is that what we're saying here? I'm bringing the big dick energy.
That's
the BDE.
Exactly what it is.
Big Bluey energy.
Yeah, come on. I'm wearing Bluey for God's sakes. Be nice and happy and family oriented, okay? No, where the hell is this damn thing? Okay, I found it. Can I show you guys the app? I'm so excited here. Okay, so
sure.
I think this is the first thing on the arena that I can actually say I did that. Oh wait. Colin, where's the apps? Oh, there it is, App Store. Oh, yeah. Okay, here.
You know what we should talk about next, guys, is ice. I would love to talk about some ice.
I'm really hot where I am right now. I need some ice.
I need to get some water.
Baby.
All right. Let's talk about the whole immigration thing
ice baby to sing for them.
Ice topic. I want to hit. I want to hit
some water.
Spicy topics.
Okay,
muy picante.
There it is. Oh, Colin left. Well, okay, you can put up the.
Hey, David, go ahead, man.
Yeah, talk about ice.
Yeah, let's talk about ice. Have you guys seen the video content coming out of Minnesota? Did you guys see what those anti-ice people in Minnesota did to federal vehicles last night?
Oh, dude, they took a ratchet strap or a tow strap and tried to yank the weapons case. That's bolted into the vehicle.
They ripped it out.
I know, got it open, and they took a bunch of weapons. And dude, if you're under the illusion that this isn't some sort of freaking
Those people are going to prison, bro, for a long time.
Dude, every person in that video is getting hunted down and put
They're
away.
so fucked. It's so stupid.
They don't understand that, do they?
Like, how do you not get it? Like, how do these people are on
They
camera?
live in a bubble, dude. They live in their own
Like,
bubble.
they're doing this on camera, like full bare-faced, doing this on camera, man. It's completely insane.
For future prosecutions.
Bro,
Waltz was
he's
saying
just,
we want you to take video and you're fucking incriminating yourself.
it's just like, oh, in what world is it okay to attack police? Like, this makes no sense to me.
Well, I mean, I could see where there potentially could be cases. This isn't, one of them.
Right. There is a world.
I mean, if you were in Nazi Germany and they're going around rounding up people, putting them on trains to go gas them, I'm not just going to stand by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not what's going on here, though. Like,
no,
not even
no.
close. Like,
there is a threat.
In what world?
I mean, bro, like, these ICE officers are going in, and dude, do you know how many people in Europe would kill to have a police force like ICE going around and removing illegal aliens from their society? Dude, millions of people in Europe would kill for that privilege. Britain, you name it, any Western European country. And so here in the United States, we have police officers, federal agents, ICE, going to states where there are millions, maybe not millions, but a lot of people who are in the country illegally. That's a crime. And ICE is going there and deporting people who are here illegally. That is their job. And you've got all of these, really just insane people attacking federal agents, man.
No doubt. Yeah, they're
like, and they're doing this shit on camera. Think about it. If you're a business owner, they're paid. They're all paid. I don't know if they're all paid, but many of them are probably paid. But think about it. If you're a business owner, no, bro, they're paid.
Well funded.
They're paid. But like, if you're a business owner in Minnesota, like, and you know that the next time there's a riot, the police are not going to defend your property. Like, what are you talking about? Like, the social contract has completely broken down at that point. You can't own a business in a state where the police are not going to defend your property against insane rioters who are just causing millions of dollars of property damage. Like, did you see the videos of all of these rioters in Minnesota, going in, and they think they're ICE agents in a hotel? Whether or not they are, it doesn't even matter. And so what they do is they spray paint the hotel, they break into the lobby, they cause tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage. And what recourse does the business owner have? None. And what do the police do? What do the police do, man? The police are ordered to stand down. Like, this makes no sense. And then you see the governor getting up there, basically fanning the flames and encouraging these rioters to keep it up.
Worst.
Oh, he was saying to attack ICE agents, and then the sheriff next to him was looking at him like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
Bro, did you guys see that one sheriff who started crying when he was talking about those gang members? Did you see that shit?
No.
Oh my God, man. So there's some sheriff, it must have been in Minnesota, I'm sure. And he gets up there and he's talking about these Tren de Aragua terrorists who I think tried to kill someone either with a vehicle or something like that. And he literally started crying, and he had to couch everything by saying, in no way do I think that this is representative of the entire community, but we had to have some enforcement action against these TDA terrorists. He started crying when he was speaking. Bro, if you live in a city where the sheriff is going to start crying about anything other than a child was murdered, bro, like, he's crying about gang members, dude. Like, it's totally nuts. And it's just pandering. It's pandering, man. It's horrible. It's really horrible.
Yeah. Well,
man.
Should we wrap this up?
Oh, dude, I could keep going forever.
Can you show my screen? Can you share my screen?
Oh, yeah,
you
the app.
Oh, hold on. Oh, here it is. There you go.
Okay. So if you go to more down here, you go to Arena. Not Arena Trade. Sorry, my bad. You go to Arena App Store, and right now the top app on the App Store is Moats. Why my computer doesn't want to go up and down, I don't understand. It just did it 2 seconds ago. Oh, but there we go. There it is. Okay. So Moats.app, a reward and governance management protocol. Deploy a moat for your token today. So as of now, as far as I know, you do not need to have approval from the founder to have its own moat, right? Wow, it connects right, dude. This is great. I can't believe that it is in a week. Colin, this is really good deving here in 1 week. I got to tell you, they did a lot of work on this. So right now there are how many moats? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of which 7 were launched on the arena and 2 were not. And I'm gonna create a moat for my meme coin now that this is up. It will probably benefit you if you do have a verified check. I doubt if it's not verified, people are going to be super enthusiastic about, because you're not. If it's not verified, that means there's no guarantee that the rewards are going to come to you that are being claimed, right? If it's verified, then that means they've done an audit to make sure that the rewards are going to actually have an income source.
Labubu, shubu labubu.
But yes, so that's it. Hefe is probably the one that I've got the most in. And like when you come in here, you can either, so see, I've got 313,000 locked for another like year, and then I've got $250,000 that I burned. And these points in the top right are what determine your weekly or monthly airdrop, depending on how it works.
Oh, so it's like a multiplier.
It is. That's exactly what it is. So you get 10x multiplying for burning, right? And then your locking gets you anywhere from 3 to 7x. Like if you lock it for a month, you're getting like 3. If you lock it for 2 years, you're getting 7 or 8, whatever, something like that. And then staking just gets you 2x, because you can unstake and stake whenever you want, like arena staking. But I believe, this is Malik guessing, I do not have any knowledge of this, that they're going to work towards using this so that Arena can give. Oh, did you hear that noise?
I did.
My stopwatch.
Somebody made a sale.
I just got stopped out. Okay.
I just got stopped out. It's like on that South Park episode where Stan takes his money into the bank or to invest
and
it.
It's gone.
Right. So anyways, all I know is that it's in here. The arena seems to be very excited about it because they this is V3. Okay, so this is officially the launch. So fully audited. Okay, yeah. So Moats V3, meaning that now people can start their own moat and you apply to become verified. See, right? Oh, yeah. See, there are no community ones yet. Community tokens are verified, but they're a different kind of token. Like my token will be a community one because it was created by my community for community use, right? But then there will be unverified ones. Just anybody can put a moat up, but buyer beware because it's unverified. So I would stick to verified and community, quite frankly.
You know what would be really cool, Malik, is if you could use arena tokens in a prediction market. That would be really cool, man.
Yep. Let's just say that if we had a prediction market about whether it would be before or after February 1st, I would bet on before or after February 2nd. I think I would bet on the before, maybe.
That's pretty cool, man. You know what I want? I want to be able to bet on this. I think that Waltz will be indicted before the end of the year. I would love for that to be a market that I could.
The market on Polymarket, but we can bring it here, I think. So, yeah. I mean, if Arena does have prediction markets, it will start with we'll start with like a limited number, right? What it's going to want to know from the community is what are the things they want, right, to bet on. So, and then we're probably going to want to create a couple of our own. Like, will the Arena token go above this number by this date. I think people are going to want that a lot. That's a
How
prediction.
do I launch a moat?
What?
How do I launch a moat?
You launch a moat by going to the unverified section. Dude, you have don't you have a bunch of tokens you launched that you own like a shit ton of supply?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it after the show because I don't want to bore people to death. Yeah, we'll do it together, Colin. I'll help you do it because I want to launch one too, but I'll help you do one that you have a ton of.
Okay.
Yep. So do any of you follow football at all?
I haven't watched football in decades.
What about anybody here? You do, right?
Yeah, Niners.
What do you think about Mike McDaniels going to the Lions for offensive coordinator? It's the word on the street.
God.
That would be dope for the Lions, baby.
Well,
that would
he is from Detroit, so.
Wait, who is? Mike?
You are.
Oh, I am, but I gave up my Lion fandom for 5 years. I wrote a letter.
My
to
dad's
Lions.
from
I
Detroit.
became a Lions
So you
fan.
fell off the wagon?
No, I decided that I was not going to blindly follow idiots anymore. And I refused. And Stafford got traded to the Rams. And I literally bet the GM of the Rams 3 years before that one day he would get Stafford because they took all our good players. It was kind of a joke, but I did bet him. And then it happened. So he owed me season tickets and then sent me the craziest email about how he was going to get fired if anybody ever saw this email because he's not allowed to bet season tickets.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, dude, don't worry. I won't ever send it back to you. So so I love the Rams. They like me, but I should have held them hostage for like lifelong tickets, but I didn't do it. I'm too nice. Too nice. Yeah.
Well, let me think. Yeah, we could probably, like I said, we could probably wrap this up. I'm sure people are. I know
Once I start talking about football, it's all over. Wrap it up.
Oh no! Just we've been talking to them for 2.5 hours now about politics and everything, and I know just people on the East Coast. I know shit. What it's 8:30 here, so it's freaking 11:30 there. Yeah. So yeah, I know it's late for you guys, but
why can't I find this on YouTube?
Well, Jeff, closing thoughts.
Oh. All this, always be questioning and don't take everything for face value. And even question yourself if you feel like you're getting pulled into one side or the other. Challenge yourself. Seek people with differing opinions, talk to them, debate them, but don't just shut everything out that you don't agree with. So,
yep.
Colin.
Use a dental dam when eating ass.
That's very, very sage advice. Very sage advice.
Wow.
Don't ever say. You know what? I think was that Marcus Aurelius that said that.
Seneca.
Yeah, that was Marcus Aurelius.
It was Seneca.
All right, David. Closing thoughts.
Oh man. Okay, so closing thoughts. I'll make a prediction for 2026. I think that in 2026, President Trump is going to have no choice but to significantly curtail the federal transfer payments, specifically to blue states, because that's where the majority of the fraud is. And so when I think about the reason why I'm leaving California, one of the biggest reasons why I'm leaving California on Saturday, actually, is because I know that half of the social service budget is actually federal tax dollars. And so since we're seeing this massive fraud be uncovered in Minnesota, I think that California will make the fraud in Minnesota look like child's play. Yeah. And so what happens when Trump has no choice but to cut these transfer payments? I'll tell you what happens. These states go bankrupt overnight. They are already insolvent, but they won't be able to deliver these social services literally overnight. And so you got to ask yourself, where do you want to be when this chaos that we're seeing in Minnesota is, across the entire country? Because people can't get the social services that they depend on, regardless of whether they pay into the tax system or not. So I think that, even though I think that the future is bright in the United States, I do also think that, man, we've got to clean up this massive fraud first. And honestly, you guys, people at the top need to get indicted. Like, you need to see the people who were overseeing this go to prison. And if that doesn't happen, then it's like, well, we don't have a system. We're not governed by rule of law anymore. Like, so my prediction for 2026 is that the transfer payments will get cut and that there will be indictments of high-ranking political officials. So that is that's my.
Wait, are we doing predictions? I'm sorry. That was advice. My bad.
Prediction markets?
Yeah, that's what I got for you guys.
All right. Matt.
I can do a prediction if you want.
Mine's real simple.
We'll get Matt's closing thoughts and we'll circle back to Colin.
Mine's real simple. Look at my pinned post on X from November 20th. I said 3 things: Arena, Moats, VDEX. And boom, 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 baby. It's all coming together. Closing thoughts.
Actually. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, Colin, your prediction, sir.
For 2026, my prediction is that we will enter civil war.
Oh, no, God. Fuck that shit. Ban him. No.
Here's what I think. I think that the markets are going to rebound significantly and in a big way. And I think by the end of the year, the bubble on AI is going to burst. And I'm talking October, maybe November. I think we're looking at something like that. I think we're going to see a lot of stroking our own wieners for the tariffs until that happens. And then once that happens, they're going to blame the tariffs. And then it's going to instantly rebound after the crash sometime mid-2027. So that's when they're going to, again, stroke their wieners about the tariffs. But I think that we're looking at an AI bubble. It's pretty clear that the money there is extremely incestuous. And that's not ready to collapse yet, but it will be when they keep flooding money in. And one of the reasons money will flood in is as interest rates drop to equal inflation, money markets make no sense, and there is $7.2 billion sitting in wait in money markets, which means that money has to go onto risk-on assets. And the top 2 risk-on assets are crypto and AI. So AI is going to be the trigger for the crash, not crypto this time, thank fucking God. And we're going to, it never really was in the general markets, but the AI will see a huge influx of this money. And I don't think it's going to be necessarily bad that it bursts, because what you can do is position yourself for cheap things after the burst.
I like it.
All right. Well, you definitely heard some deep think here during this 2.5 hours. We got into some pretty deep topics, and you know what? This is exactly what I had in mind, and I'm very grateful that all of you guys showed up, and we were able to have this, I thought, very cool conversation where sometimes we agreed, sometimes we didn't, but you know what? Nobody called anybody a son of a bitch or stormed off, and we all got through it. So I'd like to thank everybody.
Why did you think that would happen? I think we all are pretty much aligned on everything. I'm kind of finding it interesting that you keep bringing that up. I did have a friend who just recently completely cut me out, and he used to run my. We ran a podcast together for 2 years. He called me evil. He said that I was a Nazi and that Trump was setting up a Gestapo with the ICE, and this was just yesterday. And I woke up to these messages, and he's just cut me off, blocked me on everything.
Holy shit!
I just get rid of toxic people from my life, and I'm like, dude, your bubble's about to get a lot smaller.
Sounds like he's toxic.
Anyway,
dude, don't listen to that ding dong.
It makes me upset because I would never cut him off if he disagreed with me. And
that's the difference. It's like
virus, baby.
That ideology seems to foster, those types of social skills, where if you don't agree in the hive think, then you're the enemy. and that's what happens in cults. If you look at the psychology of cults, this will be my closing thoughts, is like Jeff was saying, you need to think for yourself, and you can't just take everything that's spoon-fed to you, because everything that's spoon-fed to you, there's an agenda behind it. It's your responsibility as an adult to educate yourself, to seek out facts, figure out how to separate, sift through the information and get to what's true and what's not. It takes time. Yes, it takes effort. Absolutely. But if we're going to make the world a better place, we got to do it with basically, an understanding of how the world works and understand what's going on in the world, current events, and agree on, a language, definitions of words like, David and Colin were talking about earlier.
Like men and women.
There has to be a foundational, truth that we can all start at before you can have a debate. So thank you, gentlemen, again. I appreciate it. We'll do this again next Thursday. Until next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Peace.
Later.